What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are continuing with the RPG series, and this episode will update our project to the latest version of 5.3.1, and we'll also finish some things off with the bow. It's gonna be a very easy bit to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, I am here on the Epic Games launcher, and I have my Unreal Engine project for the RPG series, which is on 5.1, as you can see on there, and I have the latest version 5.3.1 here installed. Okay, so what we have to do is update this project. Now there are a few ways to do this, but we're gonna do it in the easiest way, I believe so. Now if you are already updated into the latest version, it's okay, and if you have a version above 5.2, okay, you should be okay, right? Because we'll be using PCG and so on that 5.1 doesn't have, so that's why we are updating to use PCG and so on for the open world creation. But because hey, we got a new version, we're directly gonna jump into a 5.3, which is gonna get more new things, right? So what we have to do is open up the version that we want to migrate to, in this case 5.3.1. So let's go ahead and launch this version. Alright, so it has opened, so what we have to do is go to the recent project section and you search our project, and you can see it will appear as 5.1. Now remember that we have opened the Unreal version of 5.3, okay? So now if we select this 5.1 project, okay, and we go ahead and say open, we will have a little pop-up that will say convert project. This project was made with a different version of Unreal Engine. Open it with this version of the editor may prevent it opening with the original editor and may lose some data. We recommend you open a copy to avoid damaging the original. Okay, so here is where we got some options, right? And it says that if you want, we can make a backup just to make sure that things will not break. And I strongly recommend to do so. Okay, so what you do is go ahead and click open a copy, okay? In my case, I have already a backup, which I have it in the cloud on GitHub, okay? Which is as a video that I also sneaked into the playlist of the series on YouTube, so you can check it out. It's pretty much at the beginning. And I also have more backups like on the cloud and so on as zip. So for me, I will go and click more options and directly just convert it in place, okay? Which is how you will just convert the project and override the original version. But I strongly recommend for you, if you have put a lot of work into the series, to just create a copy, and then if everything works, just delete the old one, okay? But in my case, I'm gonna be confident and you say convert in place, which is just converting it like without making a copy, right? So let me click this. Okay, so the project has opened, it compiled some shaders, and it seems that everything is alright. If I go and hover over the title, you can see version 5.3.1. So indeed, it has been updated. So let me just press play and check that everything is fine. So you can see everything should be fine. I can do what we build in our game. Everything like works correctly, right? So that's how we got it correctly, and we got updated to 5.3, which is very, very cool. All right, so that's it for this part of the tutorial. Okay, so now that we have the project updated to 5.3, let's just continue on. And in my case, what I am going to do is just import some bow sounds, okay? So we can enhance a bit the bow and arrow system. So let's go into the audio folder, create a new folder, bow, and let's go ahead and just import these two files, which I'll be linking in the description. But of course, you can use whatever sounds you want. And in my case, I have one for shooting and one for aiming. So now I can just save this and let's go ahead and use this. Now in my case, what we're going to do for the shoot as is probably going to play a lot, and to avoid repeating the same sound, I am going to go ahead and just right click, go to audio, create a meta sound source, so you just call this ms_bow shoot, and then I'm going to go here and you say play wave mono and select the arrow shoot, and then this will be in the output and this unfinished. So right now we'll just play the sound, as you can see, but what I want to do is change slightly the pitch into random float. So each time we play the sound, it will have a bit of a modification. So I'll do it from -2 to 2. I think that will work correctly. So now, every time I play it, it will be slightly different. And we can even maybe increase it to -3 and 3 to increase the difference. It is not very noticeable, but that's the point here. Okay, so now that we have that, let's integrate everything over here. And in my case, I'm gonna be just adding this into the animations. So let's go into content, characters, RPG character animations. We should have here the bow. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of different things. I'm gonna go into the bow aiming first and just sneak up there. So sorry, aiming not, it will be the draw arrow. So when we are going to be aiming, in this case, right when we, you know, take the there we go. So take the arrow back. So around here, okay, it doesn't have to be exact, but let's add a play sound notify, and now we can just go ahead and put the bow aim. And now, so you can see that plays there, which is cool. And now let's go into the bow shoot, and in this case, we already have the keyframe when we shoot. So let's just add a new track, and this will just be like audio. And let's right click, once again, notify, play sound, and let's select our bow shoot, but of course the meta sound source that we created, so we can have the random pitch. Now that should go ahead and work. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now if I press play and it was to go ahead and shoot, so you can see when I drop my arrow, and that plays perfect. Maybe in the recording you cannot really hear a lot because I have my audio volume a bit of the system a bit lower than my voice, but for you should be hearing correctly. So that's cool. All right, so now let's add a little crosshair that will appear in the screen because right now, of course, it's kind of very, you know, hard to see when we are shooting, right? So let's go into the UI folder and let's just right click, user interface, widget blueprint, user widget. Let's call this something as WB underscore bow crosshair. All right, let's open this up, and I am going to make it simple. Just add a canvas panel so we can add things into the screen, and let's just add an image. Let's go and place the anchor at the center, place the position X and Y at the center, alignment 0.5 and 0.5, exactly the middle. And now we're gonna put the size X as maybe around 30 and size Y 30, so it will be the same as a square. And now we can go into the brush and just put this little aim icon over here that comes with Unreal that will do the job for us. Now, of course, we have to add it to the screen. So let me just go into the blueprint folder, go into the player attack system, and we have all of the bow, dragging, and shooting. In my case, what I am going to do is create it over here. So let's just say create widget. In this case, it will be the crosshair for the bow, and then I can just go ahead and save this into a variable, which will be the bow crosshair widget. And now let me just add this to the viewport, and now will be in the player screen. And now when we shoot, okay, I am going to wait a little delay of just 0.2 seconds, and then go and get my bow crosshair and just remove it from the parent, which is basically removing the widget, as you may know. And now also I'm gonna set the variable to just to be empty. And then just right click and only continue this validated, just in case the widget did not create and we have an error, which shouldn't be the case, but that should be it. So now if I start to aim, you can see the thing appearing in the center of the screen, and so on, right? And it's going there to where we're shooting. Right now it is hard to see because, well, the camera is exactly locked on. So we also have to move slightly the camera into the right. So let's quickly do that. And in my case, I believe it will be just when we overall equip the bow, right? So let's go into the player blueprint, which should be in the third person blueprints, third person character blueprint. And on here we have a whole bunch of different things as equip the bow, right? And here what we're going to do is move. If we go ahead and just get all of this, the camera boom and the socket on the I think it should be the y-axis around 50 into the right, as you can see, right? So even maybe 70. So let's put this to be 0 and just add the socket offset. Let's go here, set socket offset, and it will be around, yes, 70. Let's try this out. So now when I equip the bow, you can see that it moves to the right. Now we should do it with a nice animation, but that works. Maybe 70 is a bit too much. I think that 60 will be the sweet spot. Let's just give this another go. Let's press play. Yeah, I think that should be way better. And then when we unequip the bow, it will be the other way around. But I'm gonna go ahead and just directly do a timeline so we can do a nice interpolation. Let's call this timeline the, you know, I don't know how we could call this bow, camera, offset, okay? And now let's go ahead and double click on this, add a float track. Let's put the length, which will be like only like 0.2 seconds, right? It will be very quick. We'll add a key at 0 and 0, and then another key that didn't put a 0, make sure it's a 0. Another key at 0.2 when it finishes the value 1. Okay, so we have done this a million times in the series already. So let's go ahead and just put this over here. So when we do this, we can do the reverse on the other time, and we can just do a lerp on float. Let's right click, split this, sorry, right, split this, lerp, and now we can just plug that into the Y, move this to the alpha, and we'll go from 0 to, I think it was 60, right? There we go. So now it should do this with a nice interpolation. So if I press play, you can see it now aims, and it moved smoothly, which looks very cool. And then if I press Q, it goes back to place. So that's awesome. So let's do one final thing for this episode for the bow system, and it's just make sure that when the arrow hits something, it will apply damage to whatever it is. So let's just go into the blueprints folder, open up the BP arrow, and what I am going to do is go into the event hit, right? So we have hit something. In this case, let me delete all of the other stuff, and let's just go ahead and, you know, get the other and just apply damage, which is what we have hit. So in this case, let's pass around, let's create a new variable, which will be the arrow damage, okay? And let's make this a float. And by default, let's make that the damage will be around 15 for the base arrow. I don't know. You can play with that values to get what you want. In that case, this is for 15, and we'll just pass that value. Let's put it also public. Okay, so now, if it hits something, it should apply damage. Okay, now I'm very bad aiming with the bow. Okay, so I'm probably not gonna hit this guy. And you can see that also the arrow is not going exactly to the center of the position. Okay, so don't worry about that. I will like tune it in the next episode. Okay, which should be the last one for the bow system. But let's go back to the arrows. You can see it's not like you know, detecting anything. So let me just get the name of the object that we have, you know, hit it, and we can see what specifically we are hitting in this case. Okay, so as you can see, we are not hitting absolutely anything. And let's just try with the other component and see what we get. Yeah, so it's not hitting anything, and that's due to the collision settings, as we have it to, you know, one physics actor, another one for nothing, right? In this case, let's just go to static mesh, go down and do the component hit. I think that should be a bit better. Let's plug this over here, and let's connect this here and plug this for now. And now this in theory should print something. And okay, wait. Let's go back here. Okay, let's instead of hit, let's do begin overlap. Okay, and I just want to make sure that this is working. Like the hit should work, but yeah. Okay, so it's not printing. Oh, there we go. It hit the chest, as you can see. And if I go here, because it's only hitting actors, right? Okay, so we have to use this one. Okay, so the problem is that it wasn't hitting actors. I need to hit actors, and then the begin overlap will do the job. So this will work. Okay, so we need to do a begin overlap of the parent, which has the physics actor collision and so on. Let's plug this to damage, and let's connect this here, so it will apply damage. Okay, so now if I were to go ahead and, you know, hit the dummy, and There you go. As you can see, I am applying damage, as you can see, which looks very cool. Now, of course, like I've said, the arrows are not going exactly to where the crosshair is aiming. Don't worry, we'll tune that in next episode, like I said. But that should be it for this episode. If you found it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to my channel. Remember that project files will be available in my Patreon and YouTube members, so link in the description. Check out all of my Unreal Engine 5 tutorials and videos, join my Discord server, follow me on my socials, and now yes, with all that said, bye bye.